Welcome back to Buy or Buy. Today we're looking at the 1997 to 2005 Buick Park Avenue Ultra, the supercharged American luxury flagship powered by Ward's #2 engine of the 20th century, the only Buick sedan with an Eaton M90 supercharger from the factory, and the most underrated 240 horsepower American luxury bargain on the used market. It's a four-door, full-size sedan packing that legendary 3.8-liter 3800 Series II or III supercharged V6, paired with a four-speed automatic driving the front wheels. Built right at Detroit-Hamtramck Assembly, you'll find the Series II from 1997 to 2003 and the Series III L32 with returnless injection and electronic throttle closing it out from 2004 to 2005. Here's the spec hook. 240 horsepower, 280 pound-feet supercharged, 7.5 to 60. Eaton M90 boost, 36 grand new, 5 grand used. Ward's #2 engine ever made, Buick's swan song. Okay, let's dive into this. We're running through an 8-minute structured review across 4 quick sections. First, who's the target and what to cross-shop. Second, the gems. Third, the issues. And finally, the verdict. Section 1, who and cross-shop. So who is actually buying this thing? Well, the target profile is highly specific. We're talking about American luxury heritage hunters wanting a forgotten Detroit flagship for under $8,000. It completely appeals to GM 3800 supercharged bulletproof engine fans, buyers looking for a supercharged V6 budget alternative to thirsty V8s, strict Buick brand loyalists, and classic chrome and leather full-size sedan enthusiasts. If you want a living room on wheels with supercharger wine, you are the target. Now, when you hit the classifieds, you absolutely have to cross-shop this batch of rivals. Look at the first-generation Oldsmobile Aurora. That's a sister G-body with the Aurora V8. Consider the K-body Cadillac Seville STS Northstar V8 flagship, the 9th-gen Lincoln Continental Intake V8, and the Pontiac Grand Prix GXP LS4 V8 Sport Sedan. You can also glance at the Cadillac DTS and rear-wheel drive Lincoln Town Car Panther body as alternatives. Bottom line, it's the ultimate forgotten Detroit flagship for under $8,000. Section 2, the gems. Now, what's really interesting here is the defining engine, the 3.8-liter 3800 Series II supercharged L67 V6. This thing was actually named Ward's #2 engine of the entire 20th century. It carries a totally bulletproof 200,000-plus mile reputation. It pushes 240 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque strictly through an Eaton M90 supercharger bolted right to the top of the block. For the final years, 2004 to 2005, Buick dropped in the Series III L32 variant. This was a massive leap, bringing defining late refinements like returnless fuel injection and electronic throttle control, all while maintaining that 240 horsepower output. And all of this torque routes exclusively to the front wheels via the 4T65E HD 4-speed automatic transaxle. That HD stands for heavy duty, which is a defining upgrade specifically required to handle the supercharged torque. Underneath, it rides on the G-body chassis shared with the Buick Riviera coupe, meaning that's your defining donor car, so parts interchange seamlessly across the Buick lineup. You get MacPherson struts up front, a tri-link rear, gas-charged dampers, and Magna-Steer variable assist steering. Inside, limousine-like comfort. You get standard heritage tan or cream leather, a classic column shifter, wood grain dashboard, full-size 6-passenger seating, and options like Bose audio, a head-up display on later years, and even an optional supercharger boost gauge. Seriously, the economic value here is just staggering. We are looking at a $36,000 original launch price in 1997, climbing to $36,920 for the final 2005 models. Today, you can grab a used driver for $3,000 to $8,000, with the cleanest, pristine examples commanding $8,000 to $12,000. And because parts are shared with the Riviera and Pontiac Bonneville SSEi, repair costs stay incredibly viable. Bottom line, parts sharing makes this the defining bargain entry to supercharged American luxury. Section 3, the issues. Let's pivot straight to the mechanic's perspective. So the crucial point is understanding exactly what's going to break. We've categorized these known failure points strictly by severity, starting with the stuff that will absolutely destroy your engine if you neglect it. First up is the absolute defining 3D800 deal breaker, the lower intake manifold, or LIM, gasket failure. The factory plastic OEM gaskets react with the coolant, and they will consistently fail between 80,000 and 150,000 miles. coolant that intrudes directly into the oil galleries, completely ruining the engine bearings. This requires a mandatory $400 to $800 repair using the permanent Felpro metal carrier gasket upgrade. The second critical item is a defining supercharger-specific issue, the Eaton M90 snout bearing. That bearing wears out rapidly without proper lubrication. It demands a dedicated synthetic supercharger fluid service every 10,000 miles. Ignore it, and you can expect a whining snout bearing failure that mandates a $400 to $800 rebuild. On the moderate side, watch the cooling system plastic tanks cracking at the radiator, climate control module failures running $150 to $300, degrading engine cradle bushings that cause front-end clunking, and ABS wheel speed sensors and alternators failing right at the 100,000-mile mark. Also watch out for transmission shift solenoid failures. For minor quirks, HVAC vacuum lines can leak, leaving your climate stuck on defrost. Headlight bulb sockets tend to melt, early metallic colors get peeling clear coat, soft-touch dashboards get sticky in high heat, and the leather seat bolsters will definitely wear. Oh, and remember, this engine strictly requires premium 91 plus octane fuel. Bottom line, the issues are predictable and fixable. Verdict: buy. The 1997 to 2005 Buick Park Avenue Ultra is the most underrated American luxury bargain on the used market. You're getting Ward's #2 engine of the 20th century with an Eaton M90 supercharger, 240 horsepower, pure Detroit-Hamtramck heritage build, and full-size limousine comfort for just $5,000 used. And this brilliantly illustrates the reality of owning one. There's a golden rule here. The 3800 SC L67 has a 200,000-mile reputation as long as you've done the Felpro ILM gasket and the supercharger snout service. The durability is unquestionable, provided the previous owner wasn't completely negligent. Here is your definitive buying checklist. Buy a 2004 to 2005 Series III L32 Ultra under $8,000 with a documented LIM gasket replacement using the Felpro upgrade, supercharger snout fluid serviced in the last 30,000 miles, absolutely no oil and coolant evidence, and a recent 4T65E HD fluid service. Alternatively, buy a Series II 1997 to 2003 Ultra at $4,000 to $6,000, only if that LIM gasket is already done and the oil is clean. Say bye to any car with oil and coolant evidence. That engine is likely destroyed. Also pass on any supercharger whine that doesn't go away after a fluid service or a car with zero service history. Let's move to and see how this builds your final decision. You absolutely should cross-shop the sister Pontiac Grand Prix GXP from this batch if you want a V8 alternative. But the Park Avenue Ultra is completely unique. It pairs Ward's #2 engine with deep Buick heritage, and it comfortably fits 4 genuine adults. Bottom line, it delivers unmatched reliability and presence for a fraction of its original cost. Which brings us to our final question. For just $5,000, is the 240-horsepower Buick Park Avenue Ultra the last great uncompromised American luxury secret left on the market? Take these facts, check the classifieds, and decide for yourself. Thanks for joining this explainer, and we'll see you on the next one.